Hey, yo, welcome to Geek Freaks. I am Frank, and today I'm joined by Kyle,
Hey,
and we have Kevin.
Hey, hey, hey.
Been a bit since we've seen you guys on, but I'm happy to have you here. Actually, Kevin was here 2 weeks
I was here
ago.
last week.
You were manning things, running the show. How'd you like recording
was-
without me? So much better, huh? I see how it is.
I wasn't gonna say it,
Oh,
but
God.
yeah, I think we
hot
held the
seat.
fort down pretty well. Just gonna throw that one out
The
there.
Taskmaster wasn't here. All
I
right.
didn't have any whips hitting me in the back, so
Yeah, that's a real problem. Our
No,
question
it's
for the
not.
week to start things off: what is your favorite fandom that you're currently not a part of? So maybe you're like, man, I wish I was into that. It looks really cool. Maybe you're into bronies and you're like, man, I really would like those costumes. Something like that. I'll kick things
Oh,
off while you guys go. I am probably gonna say Doctor Who, and we talked about
Fuck,
this in
that
the
was mine.
past. Yeah, it's something that like has so much information in it that I don't know where the hell to jump in on it. And I've said before, it's like Star Trek level. Like I don't know where you'd start. So I want to be involved in that universe, but I'm just going to be passing in the wind. I know it's not going to be something I could actually get into. It's too hardcore for me. What do you guys think?
Well, I'm gonna tell you where to start, and that's with I think it's the ninth Doctor. Chris Eccleston is the one.
Okay.
Eccleston. I don't know how to pronounce his name. The one before David Tennant, which is everybody's favorite Doctor.
David Tennant's dope. Okay.
Yeah, start with the one before him, and then go through current day stuff.
Oh, I know
That's it.
exactly who you're talking about then, because I know the order that they're in. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I'll check that out then.
I was gonna say Doctor Who. Because my wife is a big Whovian, I think is the phrase.
It sounds like a Dr.
I'm
Seuss
gonna
thing.
It does, yeah. I'm gonna go with another one because even though it's a little controversial, I've tried before to get into the Harry Potter franchise.
Yeah.
Say what you will about the route that the creator has taken and her shitty shitness, but
Yeah.
the Harry Potter Hogwarts whole fandom is massive, and that's another thing that I wish I could connect with my wife on because she watches Star Trek with me. I've tried so hard to watch both Doctor Who and Harry Potter with her. Doctor Who I could get through, Harry Potter I couldn't because I tried watching it as an adult and I never watched it as a kid. The
Yeah.
fans of Doctor Who though, they are like next level like Star Trek fans. Like they're like
Cool.
up there with us with that. It's great.
Yeah.
so you haven't read the books at all?
Of the Harry Potter? God, no. No,
Really?
no.
Oh, they're
Yeah,
actually really good books.
So do you think if you hadn't read them at this point, if you read them today, that you would like them anywhere near as much as you did when you first read them? Because that's my hang up.
Well, I actually read them much later after they came out. Like I only
okay.
started, I think maybe 10 years ago. I read the whole series because my wife was really into Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And I basically just saw the movies and didn't know much else about it. And I, took the challenge of reading all of them, and I did it in like 6 months. Like it was really fun to explore that world and, get immersed in it and see what inspired the movies and seeing
Okay.
the differences between the two.
I might do that. I might read the books then first, and then try to go back and watch the movies. That's a good suggestion. I
But
like that.
the movies
That's
are
a good idea.
drastically different in cases. They changed some things around here
Yeah.
and there.
Okay.
But
It's worth
I
checking out, though.
enjoyed the books immensely after seeing the movies because it kind of gave me like an idea of how things were going.
Okay.
And yeah, anyway,
Should I watch the movies first or read the books first?
read the books and then
Okay.
watch the movies.
Ooh.
Yep.
Have you,
Cool.
so
And then
real
you'll
quick, do
be
you have a
pissed off
Kindle?
at the changes they did.
Yeah, do you have a
No.
Kindle by chance? I ended up buying the first one on the Kindle for like $1. They have them like real cheap on Kindle. So if you want to read digital, it's like $1. Yeah.
Cool.
Kyle, what fandom you want to be a part
To
of?
Frank's question. Well, I'm going to go with the easy answer, the obvious answer, Star Trek.
Yes.
Yeah, baby.
Anything
That door's open for
I
you
know,
right now.
I know. It's like the precipice of like further knowledge and understanding in science fiction, and
So
it's like the
ba-
last bastion, the final frontier.
There it is.
basically you need to get Kyle on an episode of Challenge Accepted to watch an episode of Star Trek, and then that will carry him over to guest host on Trek Freaks, to where we can have all this Geek Freak synergy with Kyle at the epicenter.
We should make a shirt that
And
says like
get
I
him into Star
survived.
Trek.
Should get a shirt that says like I survived the network where you guest on each show.
I don't
Hey,
know
I'm
what the
getting there.
equivalent would
Yeah.
be for Star Trek, but you guys would be like the Jedi Masters to the Padawan here.
I'm gonna tell you right now, don't fucking say that shit at a Star Trek convention. It's not gonna go
No,
well
it's
for you.
cool. There's so
also-
much.
You're an ensign,
In
bitch.
Ensign. Oh, there you go. Okay, so you guys are the captains to my ensign.
There you go. We'll
There
take
we go.
it.
In
I'm
Trek
the red
Freaks,
jacket.
on Trek Freaks, I do. I shouldn't throw John in on this. I do so much comparison to Star Wars, and
Yeah, you do.
it is like comparing apples and oranges. You can compare them. I don't know why people say you can't. You can compare them. They're just not the same. There's clear differences between the two.
Guys, it's so many good points brought up here. I think we should do a future conversation on this is changing back to Harry Potter on creators versus their content and how you can separate the two. Because I'm having a really hard time with Hogwarts Legacy. Like I've watched so many videos on which house I should pick in Hogwarts Legacy, and every video brings up like we know J.K. Rowling's a shithead, but da, da, da. I'm like, yeah, she is, but man, I'm looking forward to this game, and the world that she created is really cool. Like I was probably like 4 years too late to that world, like too old when that world was coming out because I was really into Lord of the Rings at the same time when the first Harry Potter was
Yeah.
coming out. But man, it's really hard with what who she is and stuff like that. It's like, man, Harry Potter's cool. You suck. You know?
So I'm gonna make a suggestion. If you can wait, buy the game used. I don't typically like saying buy a game from like a GameStop or something like that, even though I have been buying Switch games at GameStop lately. I'd say buy it used if you're gonna buy it. If you feel dirty about buying it new and having money going toward her,
I mean, it's
estate
already
when she-
pre-ordered,
yeah.
so that's good advice for
Okay,
others.
well, you've already spent the money, then that's cool. Okay.
Yeah. For others, if you guys feel
If you're
bad
a
about it,
fan
get
of
used.
it, I mean, why not partake in more of it? Like the world itself is a living, breathing entity on its own at this point.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah,
really where I settle too. Is like the fans have made it
Yeah.
what it is today, not her.
Exactly.
Okay. That's a good way to start this episode. Damn, I'm feeling good about this. All right, let's go over some network news real quick. Streams are back. We streamed yesterday, our first community night of January, and it went really well, actually. It was 4 hours of just mayhem, and I loved it. We have 2 new challenge acceptance, of course. It's our brand new podcast launched last week, and it's already doing pretty well. This week, our challenge, thank you. Our challenge this week is for Hook. I'm challenging him to watch Hook. And then, of course, we're following up on The Last of Us, the second episode, which I'm loving. And there's a new Disney Moms coming out this week, which is going to be a really good one, too. And the last thing I want to make sure to mention, on the 25th, Xbox and Bethesda are going to be doing a live stream event, and we're going to be streaming it as well. So come hang out with us. It's going to be something cool where they're having the developers introduce their games, and it's more like developer focused than it is company focused. Which might
So
be
25th, the day after this comes out.
Yeah. Good call.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Somebody's looking at a calendar. All right, let's go ahead and get into the news. We have a brand new Mandalorian trailer came out during the Cowboys Awesome win. Just throwing that out there. Mando is coming out on March 1st. I cannot wait for this. What did you guys think of the trailer?
Okay, all you.
It looks badass. I can't wait for more Mandalorian because, you know, like with other Star Wars properties, it doesn't have a focus on the Jedi Sith conflict. It's
Mhm.
its own unique property, and it's exciting because you get to see more of the other workings of the Star Wars universe. Now, I haven't seen Andor yet. I'm saving it. I'm
Oh,
going to binge it right before Mandalorian.
yeah.
But I know Mandalorian's going to continue pushing the envelope for what, you know, can really compel people to invite themselves into more Star Wars storylines that aren't so good versus evil.
That
It does
is
exactly
a
that.
really, such a good way of putting it too. Like the TV shows have been so much better than the episodic movies have been. I was just talking to my older brother about this. I think he thought it was kind of a hot take to say it, but I really don't think it is. Like I enjoyed episodes 7, 8, and 9 for what they were of the movies, but man, they do not hold a candle to even like the Clone Wars,
Yeah.
which is like so old as far as the Dave Filoni Star Wars stuff goes. But yeah, this Mando trailer looks so cool. The just going back to Mandalore looks awesome.
Hell yeah, dude.
Carl Weathers is in it again, so
Yes.
can't.
He's
complain
looking good
about
too.
that.
Somebody found some
Yeah,
cash.
dude. Oh yeah, he's going up. He's making his way through the galaxy there. Yeah. Man, I'm excited for it. Every little tease was like, oh, maybe there's something here. I can't wait to see where it goes. And Grogu almost started talking in one scene.
Oh,
He
I
made a
didn't catch
noise.
that.
It was
Neither
almost
did I.
like it was like a reactive, almost like a bark, like if he was a dog. But it's like how a dog learns to slowly learns to bark. I've got a 4-month-old puppy, so that's what's on the mind right now. But he made a yelp, and it was in that kind of almost high pitched Yoda-esque voice. So I wonder if he's gonna start talking in this season at
Not to
all.
use buzz terms, but that's gonna break the fucking internet. Like when he does that, I can't wait for all the hashtags. That's gonna be
What's
so huge.
Grogu's first word? Oh, he's so cute at
I
like
know.
52.
Right?
He's
Yeah.
like 52 years old.
What would be the first word?
Ooh, good question.
He would probably say, "This is the way." That'll be his first phrase.
Oh my god.
Right?
That's it. Yep, there
You
you
just
go.
nailed it. I'm like, no, or something like that. Like he's trying to save. But oh no, that's perfect. To the storylines that I think are going to be important. We're going back to Mandor, which is, in my opinion, the best part of Clone Wars is the Mandalore storyline. The second thing is that we're going to see Order 66 from Grogu's point of view, which I don't know if we've really gotten a very clear version of that, but I know for sure on Grogu himself, we haven't seen him go through Order 66 before. And I think we're going to learn it was so traumatizing that he forgot the Force. Because he is 50 something years old. He should know of the Force pretty well before this happened to him. So it's going to be messy, I think. Yeah.
I like messy.
Yeah. And trying to go back to Mandalore with the one who thinks she runs it or should run it is going to be tricky too. Because I think that her standards are going to be like that old school. This is how Mandalore. No, wait, no, she's not that way. Actually, that's actually that's who he's from. Is the not take the helmet off stuff.
You're referring to Bo-Katan, right?
Thank you. Yes, Bo-Katan. You know the
Okay,
names.
just wanted to make sure the audience knew because I'm kind of new
Yeah.
to
I
this as
forgot
well.
the name Bo-Katan. I was gonna say Starbuck.
Starbucks. Well, you know how Starbuck is. She got them gift cards. But no, that's the thing with like.
She played Starbuck in Battlestar Galactica as the actress Katie Sack.
Okay, I was thinking like pumpkin spice. No, but that's what I'm saying. So I got them mixed up. So yeah, Bo-Katan is the one that's more like, hey, we're cool, socially awesome, and he's actually from the line. I mean, I know he's adopted into it, but the line of like, don't take the helmet off. We're hardcore. Darksaber's awesome. So I wonder if that conflict's going to kick back up. I wouldn't think so
Oh, yeah.
directly with him, but maybe with his clan.
Well, his entire purpose for going back to Mandalore is to regain his honor, basically, to put it in a Klingon. So I can compare Star Wars and Star Trek. I told you. So
That's totally fine when you do it. But when I do it, no.
he told the I think it was the armorer, whoever, that he's going back to Mandalore to right the wrongs of what he did, basically by removing his helmet. He wronged in his view, the order that he follows, and he has to go back to Mandalore to basically to request forgiveness from, I don't know, the ashes of the planet that were pretty much destroyed. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's why he's going to Mandalore. He's going to get caught up in this whole Sabine. I hope Sabine's in it. And this whole Bo-Katan
Sabine
thing
has
that's
been
going on.
Oh no, she's in the Ahsoka one. She might be in this.
Yeah.
But yeah. We do see some more Paul Sung-Hung Lee, who's been kind of spotting here and there in both Boba Fett and this. He's Captain Carson Teva. Now, the reason I'm excited for him is because there was a hint at like a Rogue Squadron TV series, and if that's the
Yeah.
case, maybe where they're like they made some changing in casting we know about that actually kind of affected this project specifically. But maybe we can get it with him as a lead in it, showing like trying to maintain law in the Outer Rim would be awesome. And I've listened to Jonathan. I've watched Kim's Convenience. It's one of my favorite shows now. And Paul Sung-Hung Lee is amazing. He's going to be the Uncle Iroh soon, so for Netflix. So that sounds cool to me.
For the TV show, are you talking about Rangers of the New Republic? Because I
Yes.
thought that got scrapped.
It did because one of the cast members was tweeting some stuff that she shouldn't be tweeting, and so she was tied to
Oh.
that. But I'm hoping like, hey, if they're bringing in Paul for this, if they're making him
Oh,
a
it was-
speaking role, yes,
Okay.
I want him to be like, hey, we're leading the Rangers of the Republic. Because one thing that's beneficial to him, we saw it before in season 2 of Mando, is he sees like the law is not black and white out here. They don't know what's going on at Coruscant. Out here, it's all about trying to make sure people survive. And I like that idea of somebody like in the gray, you know,
Like
not black
an
and white.
old West sheriff.
That's what I want out of the Mandalorian. Everything is old West
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
So hopefully we get that.
I agree.
Anything else you guys want to see out of Mandalorian?
I don't.
You
I
love the Naboo
sorry.
Starfighter. I would love to see more Space Wars with that.
Best part of Boba Fett was him getting out of that
I
ship.
agree.
So cool.
You know,
Amazing.
if he can retroactively make me want more Naboo lore after episode 1 that I didn't care for, I'm in for it. If that show can make me want more lore based on his ship, then I'm in.
That's
But I
That planet is
It's
so
so
important,
boring.
but it's so
Well, I
important
mean,
to
the
like
boring.
ship is sexy.
well, the ship is sexy. Their ships are super sexy. I actually got two of those toys. But that planet is so boring, and yet we keep going back to Tatooine, and which is just a fucking ugly
Yep.
planet. But I'm like, the Emperor came from Naboo. Like, why are we not going to Naboo more often?
That's a good
The
point.
mother of Darth Vader, or not? I mean, not the mother of Luke Skywalker from Naboo. Like, there's so many things out there that are like,
Been asked, why are we always going back to Jakku when we could go back to Naboo?
watch out, folks! Star Wars raps coming to Geek Freaks. This is like some death poetry going on this podcast. All right. Let's move on to our next topic here. The EU is taking some major steps in gaming regulations. So, a couple of things that they're trying to do. Twofold. First one is they want to update to have more information clearly labeled on the game boxes, as if game boxes are a thing. Update their PEGI rating systems. That's kind of like our ESRB. They want to give parents the ability to limit both playtime and
Boxes are totally a thing. Just
well,
saying.
I know I'm talking like the worst guy about that. Limit both playtime and money spent on games by parents, and also limiting addiction practices in gaming. Some of the other things they want to do is reinvest in gaming, make sure that it's basically got more mental health and educational practices in there, that they level out the gender in the workforce, whatever. Multiple things like that. Obviously, this means that Europe's just putting more money into gaming, but they need gaming to be to standards of other entertainment. How can United States learn from these moves?
Before I answer that, I'm gonna say that I always preface every answer whenever you ask a question. I always preface it with a long, well, this is how I feel. But I kind of don't think that this is actually truly gonna be what Peggy says it's gonna be, or what Europe says it's gonna be for Peggy.
Right.
Like I don't think this is all gonna happen. I'm very skeptical of it even happening to that extent because it sounds too good to be true.
Mhm.
And usually when it comes to a government, specifically with either the US or the EU, it usually is when it comes to regulations specifically. So how can the US adopt this? The ESRB is I probably need to do more research before I give an educated response. So I'm gonna give the Kevin Geek Freaks response by saying maybe the ESRB needs to die and Peggy should just be adopted worldwide.
That's a hot
Interesting.
take.
Or maybe that they can work closer together, the ESRB
I
and
like that
Peggy,
idea.
if they don't. Like, I don't
Well,
know.
I mean,
I mean, what's
EU's
the
different from US? Like we have different standards in, like violence or
yeah, that's
pornography
fair.
or
That's fair.
Yeah.
sex and
We usually have
movies, like
less standards for that than
gambling.
Europe.
Well, not necessarily for like sexuality. We have higher standards, but violence we have lower standards. So it's different what we prioritize. Like a Pepsi commercial in Portugal, when I was in Portugal, they show titties, folks. I'm not gonna lie, that's crazy, right? But here in the United States, that would never happen. And so I was blown away when I was a kid in Portugal. It's like, what's going on? I'm in the right country.
Well, I'm glad I said that I was uneducated because I clearly am. But I still think that there should be some working relationship between the two companies or between the two governments with the companies, or maybe get the governments out of it.
That's
Maybe.
probably best, yeah.
I
Well, that's the best if we had some sort of new regulatory system in place. Like if we had like a third party, like Better Business Bureau. I think that's probably government too. Whatever. But yeah, it's not like we necessarily need like what's happening with the EU is they're creating a new department essentially to enforce these new rules that they're making. And we know that that's just adding more red tape to something, and it's not going to be as quickly adopted as it probably should be.
right.
I do think there's a lot of good things going to be happening with this, though.
Yeah,
Overall.
if they actually do reinvest into gaming to promote like mental health and mental health awareness, stuff like that in games, that is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I don't see the US ever doing that. I wish they would, but that would be step
mean-
one for a lot of things.
Yeah, US is, consumer like focused. Like there's
Mhm.
no way they're ever going to limit anything.
We're
in the
hyper
US.
capitalist, yes.
Right. And EU is made up of various countries that each have their own guidelines or regulations on how to govern its people.
Mhm.
So I feel like with the US, it's going to be really difficult for anybody to influence our decision making in the government. Because, I mean, widespread problems abound as we speak in our government and our country, but that's getting beside the point.
Mhm.
But with EU trying to push this, it does show that they care, and I think that's what matters most in this story. at least they're taking steps to educate people better on, the effects of addiction. Like me myself, like I clearly I'm an addict as well in gaming.
Same,
So
same.
I think we all are.
maybe
Yeah.
if, I was reached out by an earlier age to like get more information, maybe I wouldn't be as addicted to World of Warcraft
Mm.
or Hearthstone or
Do you wish somebody
all
had
these other
reached
games.
out and kind of stopped you from gaming as much as you do now today?
Oh man, I don't think I want to
That's a
answer that
loaded question.
question.
Well, yeah, it's like it's like drinking a bitter and asking if somebody if you wanted to have somebody stop your alcoholism. But
Well,
um,
let me say this. Let me say this. Like, any form of dependence is a comfort to you,
right,
and without that, where would you have ended up? If I didn't have this
would I
to
find
be
something
addicted
else?
to, I would have found something else, like maybe something worse. So,
Exercise. I always wish I was addicted to exercise. Those fucking bastards, like that, they're living the good life, right?
I just
well,
Oh,
want to be
eating,
I just
addicted
got to get
to
on the
like
treadmill.
vegetables. Like,
Yeah, can't get enough carrots. Oh my god.
yeah, exactly.
Um,
No, I
but yeah,
I
amen.
just don't I don't trust government oversight of it, especially as you were saying with the EU being made up of so many different countries. Like
that's a good point. Yeah.
it's hard to trust a government entity with this, but as we know, the games industry, if left to govern itself, will always do the wrong thing. Like 100% of the time. I think it's been shown again and again and again. So at least there's some steps being taken, something somewhere. It's not here, and I don't think it'll be here for a very long time.
The movie does
Aspects.
show, yeah, it shows that they're willing to reach out and help those in need who aren't properly educated and
Yeah.
don't know what their kids are getting into. Like the most interesting thing I found about this was giving parents options to limit playtime and money spent. How would that work?
Yeah, you'd
What
have
do
to
you think?
like a lot. Like it would be kind of like on the iPhone. I think you could do something where basically like, hey, you can only play for on the iPhone for 2 hours a day, maybe, and then it gives you a warning, the kid a warning, like, hey, you've got 20 minutes left. That would probably be very useful. And but I mean, I'm not a therapist or a psychologist, but there's probably also a thing where like once you start limiting something, they want it more. I know that was
Yeah.
how it is for me, especially in high school. Um,
Of course.
so that's also a thing to kind of keep in mind. And the personally, I think one of the things out of this that I really hope we do adopt is clear labels on video games. Even if like say on Steam, you know how on the side there it shows like, oh, this is a single player game, blah blah blah. That should be standard across the industry and should also include things like includes a battle pass, has loot boxes, stuff like that would be very helpful. So if I'm a
I
parent
see.
trying to buy a game for one of my kids, and I'm like, oh, it has in-app things, but or it has in-app purchases, but it doesn't have battle pass, so I know they're not going to re-up on the purchases all the time, maybe stuff like that.
I have actually started seeing more and more of that, the in-app purchases on the ESRB tags here
Oh,
in the
that's cool.
States lately. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's happened with this generation of like the PS5,
Yeah.
Xbox, whatever games, but
Scott is so pissed that and he's the guy who, like, pirates half his games. He's so pissed that games are going up to 79.99, and it's like, well, if people didn't pirate the game so much, maybe they wouldn't be going up.
I don't think that's the problem. I
No,
really
it's not,
don't.
but it's just
Games
funny.
jumped to $79.99.
I think
Or
69,
69, sorry,
isn't it?
69.99, yeah.
I was gonna say, what the hell?
Yeah. So not
Where
only
was
did
I?
I not only did I pre-order Harry Hogwarts, I got the collector's edition.
Harry Hogwarts.
Harry Hogwarts.
I'm gonna call that Harry Hogwarts from now on.
Come watch me stream Harry Hogwarts, guys. Oh my god, I swear. But yeah, I do think there's a lot of things here that I would like to have. It reminds me, you remember in the back of the Xbox, like Xbox original, I think 360 as well, had like the green if it was like not online and orange if it was online. It would just tell you
Yeah.
really clear. I thought that was such a good system, and I think like something like that would be good too.
Like the
Nice.
classic Xbox case had Xbox Live enabled on the
Yes.
top. I think it
Right,
was.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
And
when
on,
you try,
I think it was on the back of the 360 cases.
yeah. And I think it's less of a problem now, but back in the day, there was a huge disconnect between what the kid was playing and what the parents were knowing. Nowadays, I don't think as much because I think there's a lot more intermingling between parent and child in video gaming. And so I don't think it's as much of a problem, but it's still a problem, right? I know, like, for my brothers and cousins, stuff like that, that have, and friends that have children, I don't know why, maybe it's part of Geek Freaks. The kids come to me and show me like YouTubers playing video games all the time. And I'm like, and I'll tell the dad, like, he's watching some guy that's like doing some stuff you probably shouldn't be. You know, like I like the filter a little bit, but you know, that's how it is. I'm the cool uncle. What can I say?
So let me ask you about this. What's the one game that was, say, M for mature that you played not as mature?
My parents let me play whatever
Grand Theft Auto for
when I was a
sure.
kid.
Yeah, exactly. GTA.
Yeah.
So it's like, what is the benefit of holding that back from an emerging teenager who wants to, you know, exercise his freedom to rebel?
Yeah.
So
Why not just buy him the game and have him in the house and boom?
that might be I'm sorry to say this, another topic for another time,
is,
like
it is.
the rating system specifically, but the as far as in-app purchases, battle passes, all that kind of crap goes, there does need to be some sort of clear guidelines as to how they label it. So if a parent happens to buy I guess it'd be a grandparent probably buying a physical copy of a game for a kid coming from a physical game collector, an aspiring physical game collector. um there does need to be something on there, or even on digital when they buy something, it needs to be clear that
Yeah.
this stuff is there.
That was my favorite part of video game retail was when somebody came in and had no clue about video games, but they were trying to buy something for their kid. And I was like, let's start developing the game profile for your kid. And it was so fun. I mean, like, yeah, I tell you that right now this kid really wants to play 13. It's an unknown game, but the shell shading's super good on it. Da, 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 da. And you know, and oftentimes I would hear how good the game was. It was I just love that part of that job. All right, moving on to our next thing here, guys. So we're not post-pandemic or anything like that. I'm not saying any buzz terms, so calm down. But people are going to conventions a lot more right now, and we're going to start celebrating that. And you know, we have like 7 conventions on the docket right now. It's a big year for us. So what we're going to do is monthly, we're going to start sharing the local conventions on our website. We're going to have a article each month that'll show some of the biggest local conventions that you could go to with some of the recent photos, so you can kind of see what it looks like there. And then we're going to be Jonathan will normally share these conventions on our podcast like we did back in 2019, which feels like 10 years ago. But yeah, so we're going to do that. Our first convention, though, I'm excited to talk about that we're going to be attending is CCS 2023, which was in September, but now is in April. It's April 15th here in Sacramento. We are super excited for this. And we have a couple people making a road trip to it, correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah. It's gonna be my first convention.
That's
Not
nuts.
to mention my first
Wait,
road
Mine
trip.
too.
Oh my
Really?
God.
Exactly. Yep.
Hell yeah.
I'm so excited for you guys.
Popping their cherries. There we go.
Oh,
So,
God.
to anybody listening to this, Kyle and I have been friends for a very long time. We have not met Frank in person or any of the other crew.
That's
in
how
person
life is.
ever.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I blame COVID. Thanks,
There you
COVID.
go. Thanks, COVID.
Thanks, COVID.
Oh, I'm using that for everything now.
Yes.
So yeah, you guys are making the trip out here. One of you guys flying and then driving, and the other one making that long road trip. Which maybe we'll get some pictures from the road trip.
TBD.
It'd be fun if you check out some like comic book shops along the way. Just throwing that out there.
It's possible.
That'd be awesome. All right. So at this convention, we're still developing what we're going to be doing. We're working with the board of directors and stuff like that for what we're going to be doing. But one thing we know for sure we're going to be doing, and we're talking about the details right now, is we're going to be hosting our first esports event, Geek Freaks Presents esports event. I'm really excited for this. We're still working out between me and Tyler. Tyler's going to be actually running the booth for it, whether it's going to be Tetris or Smash Brothers. And I want it to be Smash Brothers. He wants to be Tetris. He's like, oh, but Tetris will get better caliber players. Smash Bros would get too many people. I'm like, too many people is not bad. I'm okay with too many people. So we're talking about that. But yeah, we're gonna be having access to an arena all over. I'm sorry, not arena, a theater all our own. So you guys can come up, play some Smash Brothers or Tetris with us, and qualify. Everybody's welcome to come to the convention. Everybody's welcome to go to the tournament. You could qualify right there on the spot. So even if you think you're good but you've never competed before, we're gonna be super friendly about it. We're gonna have Tyler and his 2 new co-hosts, which will be live podcasting there, by the way, for their brand new show, which will be announced later down the road. And you guys could sit there. He'll help you, teach you how to qualify, teach you some tips and tricks to get you qualified if you need to be, and we'll get you on the board, and then you'll rank up and stuff like that. Well, you guys will see. It'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, so we have the esports thing. So many game devs there you guys can talk with. We're going to be interviewing them live. We'll have a couple of our shows. Disney Moms is going to be podcasting live there too, I believe. So a couple of our podcasts will be doing live there. It'll be a lot of fun. So I'm excited for you guys to come out and hang out with us. That'd be good.
Your
Let's see.
internet is shit right now. Just gonna
Yeah.
throw that out there.
Let's wait a second then. Tell me when it's like back up.
I can hear you now.
Okay.
You're kind of like splotchy, if that
Yeah,
makes
yeah.
sense.
You haven't fully cut out yet. You're lagging and
Okay.
robotic.
It's a little bit much right now, so I think that's what it is. I got all screens moving at once right now. So okay. That's why I'm glad we're not streaming right now. Let's see, where was that again? Oh, I already talked about that beforehand. Oh, all right. So here are some of the conventions that we have coming up this upcoming month that we're gonna give you guys a heads up on. We have a lot of UK listeners, okay? And I know for the UK they don't have as many conventions as us, but here's two big ones you guys should be checking out. There's the Bristol Anime and Gaming Con 2023. That's going to be February 4th and 5th in Bristol. And then the London Anime Gaming Con, which I saw some pictures of this thing. It's freaking awesome. And that's on the 10th and the 12th of February. February 12th. I don't know which way you guys put it. It's something different in UK. That's Missouri Comic Con. We have some
February.
Yeah, the 10th of February. Missouri Comic Con. We have some friends going to that one actually. That's going to be February 11th and 12th. That's going to be in Springfield. Fan Expo Portland. That's going to be February 17th and 19th. Nick, I got that. Okay. That's going to be in Portland. It's going to have Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell there. So might be interested in that.
Cool.
This one, the tickets are already sold out, but I just want to announce it because it's so freaking cool. The Star Trek The Cruise 2023, February 24th through March 3rd. Guess how much tickets are for this convention? For like the worst spots. $3K.
$2,000.
I was gonna guess
3?
2. Holy shit.
It was 2 and change, so
Holy
about $3K.
smokes.
Yeah. I looked into it. I was like, no, that's okay.
Nah, killing off that.
I know.
Fans.
Right. Alaska's got a Comic Con. I didn't know Alaska had a lot of Comic Cons, but they do have one big one. They got, yeah, right. You maybe you should look into Doctor Who conventions. They might be cheaper. February 25th, 26th in Fairbanks, Alaska. And then this is one that's really cool. I really want to suggest this one. I was looking at a picture of this one as well. Heroes, Villains, and Blurs 2023, February 26th. That's in Winter Park, Florida. This is focused on Black nerd community. And that's a community within itself, and it's really accepting. So if you're kind of like, oh, I'm a Black nerd and I'm trying to find, first off, we have people we follow that I really suggest that are really cool, focusing on the Black nerd community. It's really neat. And then this is a convention tailored to you, so it's a good introduction into convention life. So it's a really good way to, that's Winter Park, Florida. And that is the convention you guys are checking out. We're going to be going into headlines. I feel like I'm talking a lot right now, so just keep in mind. How's the internet
I
looking?
do want to. It sounded pretty good. Sounded
Okay.
good. I want to
Good.
throw out that I'm so fucking pissed off that Star Trek canceled the Seattle.
Did they actually cancel it? I know they
It's
weren't
canceled.
updating everybody and everybody's pissed about it. So I was like, something's not right.
They canceled it in November. Apparently, I looked into it last week.
Oh, okay. Do you know
Yeah,
why they canceled it?
No idea.
Fucking dumb.
They said they were hemming and hawing basically about it for a while and decided to cancel it.
If you looked at like the forums and stuff like that, people were just asking like, what is some announcements for this? Why are tickets not on sale? People were pissed. All right, here's our headlines. The John Wick director is going to be leading a new Rainbow Six movie, and it's going to be an entire franchise actually, starring Michael B. Jordan. So if you guys watched Without Remorse, it's an Amazon exclusive. That's actually a Ghost Recon movie, Tom Clancy movie. And it's going to be leading, that's his origin story. It's going to be leading into a whole franchise of movies focused on Michael B. Jordan playing through Rainbow Six storylines, which I guess is a book series. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. Stephen Colbert is working on a brand new fantasy series for Paramount to be based off Roger Zelensky's The Chronicles of Amber. I bought this book because of those terms. I was like, yes, Colbert's into it. George R. R. Martin's been trying to get people to make this just because he's a fan of the books, not because he wanted to do it himself. So it's supposed to be really, really good. It's a 1,200-page book, though, so we'll see how fast I get through that. Returnal is coming to PC on February 15th. Megan 2.0 is officially in the works, and it'll be released January 17th, 2025. And this is really cool. The two separate Avatar projects apparently are more connected than we thought. The Netflix live-action series is going to be introducing canon that won't be canonized until the new animated series coming next year. So they're clearly sharing information. All right. Is there anything out of the headlines you guys want to discuss?
Okay. Colbert working on a new fantasy series. I have no idea. Have you read this yet?
Not yet. I just ordered. It's not in yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm very I know he's such a Tolkien nerd.
Yeah.
So this seems like
And
right
Dune.
up his alley. Yeah. This seems right up Colbert's alley, and he's got that like very he's got a very specific sense of humor. So if he's working on this at all, I'm almost concerned to see where the fantasy ends and if it's going to be comedy as well. But I'm super excited to see what this is going to be.
But with his fandoms, he's super into like minute details.
That's true.
So he might
I've
be like,
listened to his Lord of the Rings tirades on his show.
they're great. But yeah. Yeah. Oh man. At Comic-Con, actually Patton Oswalt called him out for this. He was like correcting the Rings of Power cast on like, no, this is not what your character's name is. You're saying it wrong. It's like, dude, they got the info. But yeah. So that'll be good. Kyle, anything you want to discuss from this list?
Nothing really jumps out. I had the opportunity to see Megan or Avatar again.
Oh,
I
yeah.
chose Avatar again
Okay.
because I loved it. Speaking of Avatar, it's really cool that Netflix is kind of you know giving up their advantage, I guess, in allowing. I'm not sure what the other name is. Avatar projects.
So Avatar: The Last Airbender, by the way, not Avatar: Blue People.
No, yeah, I
Okay.
understand that. I was trying to say I don't know who the other
Yeah.
studio is.
So just to kind of break down the story on this, Avatar, the Netflix series, had the two original creators on there helping out with the project. They left
Oh
because of
yeah,
differences
I
and
forgot.
started Avatar
Yep.
Studios, where now they're actually making like MCU level projects going on that's set in there. And we thought, oh no, that's too bad because we're looking forward to this Netflix one. Well, come to find out, they're actually still in communication. They're sharing canon, which is something that we didn't think was going to happen. So that's just kind of hopeful for
Oh,
those
that's
of us
great.
that are looking forward to this.
That's
Yeah.
that's really good news because Avatar has been in ice for a really long time now. And Kevin, that's another fandom you should probably join.
I was just gonna say I
Yeah.
didn't want to interrupt though. I was gonna say, is this another fandom that I should try to be a part of? But
Yes,
I think I
Absolutely.
think I'm a part
it
of too
is.
many fandoms.
Like
Drop one of them.
I don't have enough time in the day.
I gotta tell you something. Like my wife was a huge Avatar fan, and then Frank as well. And I decided to give it a shot, like maybe 4 years ago. It is incredible animated series. Like I was moved many times by it. Like
Yeah.
it's such a really good show with really good characters. I know it's a bit, you know,
It's
aimed
daunting to
towards
jump
younger
into
audiences.
as well.
Well, there's not really much to consume. You have the Avatar original show, which is 3 seasons. I think of like
Oh,
20 episodes.
Yeah.
And then you have Legend of Korra, which is 4 seasons of like 12 to 16.
it just feels
I
like
think
it should be so much longer because I've heard so many things about it over such a long period
Yeah.
of time. It seems
The
like it
episodes
takes a
mean
lot
that
makes
more.
it
much.
great.
Yeah.
There's so many like lore dumps in those two separate shows that
Okay.
make it all encompassing and really
Yeah.
engrossing to like delve into.
I would suggest you just don't even plan on watching Legend of Korra. See if your fandom carries you there, but stick to trying
Yeah.
out Avatar for the 3 seasons. And
Oh,
yeah,
so good.
it's so well built that you're like, man, this world is freaking cool. That's a great shirt, by the way. It's so freaking cool, and it's
Like
worth checking out.
I mean, I don't know. I can't speak for Frank, but when I first watched Korra and I, seeing how much time has passed between the two shows, you're like, holy crap, this is really cool. Like, there's a lot of
Yeah,
potential for like so many different storylines, and it's just really, really fun to watch.
the
Okay.
villains
I'll
in
keep that
Korra
in
was really
mind.
good too. Yeah.
It is.
Okay, so that's it for headlines. We're gonna be closing things out with playing and watching. So these are recommendations as well. Has there been anything you guys been playing or watching that you want to share with everybody as a recommendation or anything like that? I already shared Kim's Convenience last week, but I will say that if you're a World of Warcraft player, there's a very big patch coming out the week that you're listening to this, and it's the release schedule for World of Warcraft is kind of insane. It is Legion level, so I'll just say that. I know that doesn't mean much for a lot of people, but it means a lot for a little people. So yeah. What about you guys?
I have been busy. Along with World of Warcraft, I've been watching several shows.
Mm-hmm.
The Last of Us on HBO is
Oh,
incredible.
so good.
Highly recommend it,
Yes.
especially to you, Kevin, because you haven't played the game. I don't think.
I've seen this. I've seen a playthrough of the game though.
Yeah.
Oh,
Same.
okay, okay.
I know the
But
story.
it's just fascinating because me, I've loved Last of Us since it first came out a decade ago, and now my parents are watching the HBO show and they love it, and they had no idea that I had a video game that I love so much, and it's really cool to see how it's gripping those audiences, those people that aren't game players. So it's really neat to see how that's being adapted to
I'll say
normal
it's cool
audiences.
I like that because I did sell through all of my physical copies of Last of Us on PS3.
Oh, wow.
When the
PS3?
show
That's
when the
cool.
show premiered, I
Oh,
sold through my PS3 copies of The
Oh,
Last of
jeez.
that's
Us.
cool, man.
Yeah, I like
Nice.
that.
Yeah. It's funny you bring that
Um,
up, Kyle, because I went to my parents' house to go watch it because I was like, "Oh, I think this is a show you guys are gonna like because they like Walking Dead and stuff."
oh yeah.
And I had this conversation multiple times. They were like, "This is a video game." I don't understand. I'm like, actually, I'm like trying to tell them like, "No, this shot for shot is from the video game." Actually, like they're rolling down the hill and stuff. And they're like, "Oh, I like Sarah's," like, oh, yeah, stuff like that. And you know, uh, did you have that conversation with your parents? Were they ever like, "How is this a video game?" And stuff like that, kind of blown away by the quality of the story?
Well, I mean, not so much that particular conversation, but they've just told me like the quality is really good, the acting is really well done.
Oh yeah.
Like that was my biggest concern was the casting, and
Hmm.
yeah, that was easily brushed aside with that first episode.
Yeah.
The casting was perfect.
The budget's gorgeous too. They put money into that show. Holy cow.
I can't
Yeah.
wait for Sunday's episode.
Yeah. By the way, guys, challenge accepted will release the response to that episode that night. So check that out. What do you got, Kyle or Kevin?
I was hesitant on whether I was gonna watch this or not, but I ended up watching that '90s show on Netflix.
Ooh, really?
I Yeah, it was exactly what you'd expect. It wasn't disappointing. It was okay. It was a little bit better than I expected because I was
Hmm.
expecting to be disappointed by it. I actually really liked the cast. Like I liked the new set of kids. I don't think they did too many gratuitous. Oh, this is another character from that '70s show that you liked. They didn't
Okay.
do like a ton of that because it was only 10 episodes. But I I thought it stayed true to what that '70s show was while being its own new thing, and I enjoyed it enough. I'm not gonna say I that I'll ever watch it again. Like I watch these episodes and I won't binge it again, like I
Yeah.
do with Community and Parks and Rec and all those shows.
You're
But
dropping some heat right
it
there.
was worth a watch. If you like that '70s show, it's worth a
Yeah.
watch.
Does that kind of sitcom still have because the shows you just mentioned, Community and Parks and Rec, they don't have laugh tracks. Does that kind of sitcom still hold up to today?
No, but the way that I took it, I watched it. I'm like, okay, I'm watching a multiverse episode of WandaVision right now. That's kind of how I
Oh,
went into it.
nice. Oh, wow.
I went into it with that geek frame of mind, and then I quickly just got out of that and ignored the whole laugh track comedy situation that I was in my head about, and just enjoyed it for what it was.
I have a hard time watching How I Met Your Mother anymore because of that. I'm just like, man, they're just
Yeah,
Mm.
this is a clearly laugh
it's
track. It's
hard.
too bad, you know. But yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that's it for Geek Freaks. Thank you guys very much for hanging out with us. Remember to check out everything coming from Geek Freaks Network this week. So many cool things. Disney Mom's Gone Wrong, by the way, guys. I just finished editing that. Is a blast. So check that out. All the mics are working really cool. All right, guys. We will see you next week. Bye.